around networking, bandwidth, and storage resources. So I could be part of the whole storage system. So the BitTorrent file system is a decentralized file storage system, and you get compensated for running that. And well, the price would logically be pretty low, so that may be a good option. Again, time will tell whether how that's going to work out. Filecoin, I'm just going to come to. Filecoin is similar, but there are some distance. So in fact, Filecoin is what we consider as the Airbnb for data. What does that mean? What does Airbnb do? You have an extra room in your house, and on a daily basis, you could rent it out. So for a day or 2 days. Filecoin is trying to do exactly the same thing. If you have excess storage capacity for a short period, you could then rent out that storage capacity using Filecoin. So their token is FIL, and it is also the incentive and security layer for the interplanetary file system, or IPFS, which all of you may have heard about. So you can consider it to be like a marketplace for unused storage capabilities. And the pricing is quite cheap if you compare it to an AWS or an Azure. It is much cheaper than any of those established cloud service providers. And their native token FIL is used to pay the miners. And if the miner does not give you the kind of minimum guarantee that he's promised you, then he is fined and he has to give FIL as collateral, and that can be taken away. So that's how the thing fits in. Pretty similar to BitTorrent, but with a crypto layer. Yeah. So BitTorrent and this are quite similar. In fact, there's another project also which I'm going to talk about, which is quite similar. Any other questions so far? Okay. Then there is something called the graph, which is GRT. So this is a decentralized protocol for indexing and querying data from blockchains. So developers can build and publish their APIs, which are called subgraphs. And this makes their data easily accessible. So if you've heard about projects like Uniswap, Synthetics, or even Decentraland, they all are using graph. And GRT is their token, which is locked up by the protocol participants to provide services to the network. Any questions on that? Okay. Could someone just say all clear so I know that I'm audible, visible? All clear? Yeah, perfect. Then there is something called Helium, very interesting. So the Helium network is a decentralized wireless network, right? It enables IoT, Internet of Things devices, to wirelessly connect to the internet and geolocate themselves without needing satellite location or cellular plans. So you don't need satellite location hardware, you don't need cellular plans, you can directly use Helium. So this network is again a blockchain powered network. Their core token is HNT, and this HNT incentivizes a two-way marketplace. So on the one side there are coverage providers, and the other side there are consumers. And then hotspots are a combination of this wireless gateway and a miner, and they provide network coverage over a certain radius. And each hotspot can be used to mine HNT, which is their token. And this runs on a very interesting consensus mechanism, which is called proof of coverage. So that's an interesting project also. Any questions, or is it all clear? All clear? Okay. Then there is, of course, Chainlink. That's a project I'm sure most of you are familiar with. So Chainlink is actually not a blockchain. It is a decentralized network of Oracle providers. So to give you a very simple example, oracles are services that bring data from the outside world into a blockchain, or take it from the blockchain to the outside world. So if you are running a smart contract for an insurance policy and you need to know whether a certain event has occurred, that data would come in through an oracle. So oracles can be inbound or outbound, and they can be hardware or software based. So Chainlink is the leading provider where all sorts of oracle providers, whether they're giving price feeds or they're generating randomness for on-chain gaming, for example, or they're providing some kind of proof of reserve for an asset-backed crypto. All these oracles will use the Chainlink platform to provide the services. And then the payments and everything is done in their native token, which is called Link, or LINK. So that's kind of how it works. How do you differentiate between projects and blockchain? Well, that's a good point. So almost all the ones that we've spoken about so far are blockchains in themselves. Chainlink is the only one which is not a blockchain. And Chainlink is kind of like the protocol, you could say, or it's the network, and then different applications can use Chainlink. Is a project something that is made on a protocol like Solana? Okay, so Solana is also a blockchain. Now, if I was to distinguish between an example of a blockchain and a protocol, an example would be Ethereum. When you use the word Ethereum, Ethereum is a protocol. Just like when you're browsing the internet, you have HTTP, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, or FTP, File Transfer Protocol, or you have SMTP for email, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So these are protocols, which is what? A set of rules or procedures. Similarly, Ethereum is a protocol. There are multiple blockchains which run on Ethereum. The most popular one is called mainnet, and that is where the real world Ethereum transactions happen. So when we normally use the word Ethereum, we're actually talking about the mainnet, which is one of the 5 blockchains on which Ethereum runs. Now, another thing to understand is that the Ethereum protocol has only one reason. The sole purpose of that is to manage something called the EVM, or the Ethereum virtual machine. So that's how the whole terms are. Solana, on the other hand, is a blockchain in itself. I hope I was able to explain the difference to you. Is proof of coverage further energy efficient as compared to POW? Okay, so proof of work without doubt is the most expensive in terms of the environmental impact. Other than that, the others are much better in terms of environmental aspect. So proof of stake is also more energy efficient. Almost everything is more energy efficient than proof of work. But there's a very important thing to remember. Proof of work is the only one that has been tested over a long period of time. So ever since Bitcoin went live, 2009 or 10, till today, Bitcoin and Ethereum run on proof of work. The maximum attacks have happened there, but proof of work has managed to handle that. So from a security standpoint, I would still say POW is the best. But yes, from an energy point of view, it does consume a lot of energy. Proof of stake is fairly new. All the other consensus mechanisms are still fairly new and they've not really been tested or battle tested. Do you think there will be multiple blockchain services in the future? Yeah, that's a very good question. So, well, I don't think so many blockchains will remain. I personally research and track 16 blockchains, out of which I'm pretty bullish on 5 of them lasting in the long run. So I would say Avalanche, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon. I would say these are the ones that are likely to last in the long run, and maybe an Algorand. Other than that, I'm not sure how many are actually going to remain, because most of what they're doing could be handled by these 5 also. And I'm especially bullish on Binance Smart Chain because the transaction fee is really, really low and the transaction speeds are phenomenal. AVAX also, Avalanche also, I'm pretty bullish because of these same reasons. What types of wallet do you recommend? So if you're looking at the short run, then obviously an exchange wallet makes sense, where you keep it in the crypto exchange itself. But if you're going to hold crypto for a longer period or a larger amount, then I would recommend use a paper wallet or an HD wallet, which is hierarchical deterministic. So that could be a mobile app or even a Chrome browser extension like MetaMask. So in those kind of wallets, you get a seed phrase. As long as you note that down safely, even if you delete the app, nothing goes wrong, because those words are used to then create the seed phrase based on which all your wallets are generated, all the addresses. So I'm in favor of using things like MetaMask rather than keeping your money in crypto exchanges for a longer period. Hope that answers your question. You mean these 6 public blockchains and their side chains? Well, so all 16 of these are actually public blockchains. The only, I think, exception to the rule would be Polygon, because Polygon is 2 things. One is a set of layer 2 scaling solutions on Ethereum, and second is a separate blockchain of itself. So Polygon is kind of 2 things. The others which I follow are just normal blockchains. Any other questions? Okay. Then there's just a few, 3 more. So one is called Live Peer, LPT. So that's a decentralized video streaming network built on top of Ethereum. But again, because it's built on Ethereum, it's not, I mean, very logical because the transaction fees become pretty high. So here again, you can use LPT, which is their base token for staking. Then we have another very interesting one, which is called Sia Coin. That's a decentralized cloud storage platform. The biggest benefit here is it's extremely cheap. So it's about 10% of the cost of an Amazon. So it's really cheap storage. And what it does is your data is spread over a decentralized network and it is encrypted. So only you can access your data even though it is distributed and kept in multiple locations. So that's quite an interesting project. Uh, there is a crypto bill that we introduced. No, don't worry about this. Okay, the government of India is never going to ban crypto, and I can prove that to you if you download this year's blockchain national strategy. So we are one of the few countries in the world where the government comes out with a blockchain strategy for the country. One of the use cases mentioned in that is very specifically a government crypto wallet for trading, holding, buying, and selling of crypto. It's in the official Ministry of Information Technology document. So don't worry, crypto is not getting banned in India. Hope that answers your question. And finally, the last project is Theta. So that's something which is one of the co-founders of YouTube is also part of it. Google is part of this project. Binance, Sony, Samsung, they're all part of this project. And this is again a video streaming platform. It has a blockchain. And one interesting thing about it is it has two native tokens. One called Theta, which is used for governance, and the other called T Fuel or Theta Fuel, that is used for powering the transactions. So these are the 11 projects that I feel are quite prominent from a Web 3.0 perspective. But having said that, personally, I'm not bullish on Web 3.0 as a concept because without that economic incentive, why would an entity hold your data? So, I mean, if you take an example of YouTube, if YouTube wasn't free, and they would charge every time we uploaded our videos and they would charge us a monthly fee, I think 99% of people wouldn't put up videos on YouTube. So how do we really expect all this data, whether it is audio, video, data storage, how do we expect all that to actually move on to decentralized networks? And that is where I fundamentally question whether Web 3.0 is reality or is just another hype kind of a thing. Any questions? Yeah, okay. But that's the only alternative. If the community of people share the revenue, don't you think? Yeah, but will they share the cost? That's the question to see. See, when you go to YouTube, you see millions of videos are there which are hardly ever viewed. It's very few videos that are being viewed by a larger population. Now, who's going to pay for those millions of videos? And the storage space is enormous, what you need. Are people going to be ready to work? If yes, if they are ready to contribute, maybe it will. But otherwise, I don't think so. I mean, you look at Ethereum, right? Look at where the transaction fees have reached. They have become extremely expensive. So that's a decentralized platform. And the logic is that it should be cheap, but it's super expensive. YouTube, on the other hand, or Facebook, or Instagram, or WhatsApp, they've managed to keep the service free for such a long time because they have an advertising model. So Web 3.0 still needs to develop those revenue models. The tech is in place. It's the revenue models which are missing. Any other questions? Okay. For a change, I've actually managed to finish before time. I take a lot longer. Yeah, sure. You want me to rename the names of the projects? Sure, I have them listed here. Let me just quickly read them out to you. So if you're noting it down, the names are, the first one is Arweave, ARWEAVE, and the token is AR. Is there a place for me to paste it here? I'm not sure. Can I, is there a chat function where I can paste the thing? Okay, I'll just repeat the names then. The second one is Audius. The symbol is audio, AUDIO. The third one is the basic attention, is BAT. BitTorrent, BTT. Filecoin, FIL. The sixth one is the Graph, which is GRT. Seventh is Helium, HNT. Eighth is Chainlink, LINK. Live Peer LPT, Sia Coin, which is SC, and Theta, which is THETA. Yeah, I found the place to type it also. Let me just. Okay. I hope, yeah, I put the names there. You guys will be able to see it there. Perfect. Then data can be stored on our storage devices, like we can rent out storage. Yes, so definitely you could use the projects which allow you to, like Filecoin being one example. You could give your excess storage space, whether that's on your laptop, that's on a server. Definitely, even BTT would be a good solution for that. Somebody had a question about NFTs. Your views on NFT space and what are the things you evaluate? Yeah. So according to me, most of the NFTs that we see today they don't make sense in the long run, because unless there is some kind of a way for me as an NFT holder to monetize that NFT, it makes no sense. So if I buy an NFT of Amitabh Bachchan, I may be his fan, but there are 1,000 photos of his on the internet I could download for free. So what we've got to understand is, if the NFT of Amitabh Bachchan allows me to actually use his image for commercial purposes, then I would pay a huge amount of money for it. But most NFTs today do not give you that kind of a thing. So I'm not very bullish on conventional digital art kind of NFTs. But my own project that I'm working on, which is the Hi-Fi blockchain, our first use case is NFTs, but we are talking about private equity, we are talking about rare collectibles, and we're talking about real estate, as in high-end luxury real estate. So those are the kind of cases that we are covering under our NFT project, not the conventional digital art. I'm not very bullish on digital art as an NFT. Axie is doing a fairly good job. Yes, absolutely. So Axie Infinity, so the token is AXS, which is Axie Infinity Shards. So it's a very interesting project where Axies are these dragons kind of creatures, and it's a real-time battle game. And these creatures are, each of them are NFTs. So whenever you mint them, so there are multiple cryptos in the project. There's an NFT which is Axies. Then there is SLP, which is, I think, Simple Love Potion or something it's called. And then there is a third fungible token, which is AXS. So you can use it to purchase stuff on the marketplace, and everything that you win in the battle or you mint, you can sell that on the marketplace. So yeah, Axie Infinity is a really interesting project. I'm quite bullish on that. Yes. Any other questions? Okay, I can see a question. Let me just quickly paste it and read it out. So between ETH and Solana, do you have a preference? Okay. So Solana was one of my favorite projects, but in the last few months, it has had 3 successful attacks on it. In one of those attacks, the entire blockchain was unavailable for 18 hours. And to be very honest, that really scares me, because blockchains are supposed to be decentralized. How could all of them go down at the same time? So that kind of makes you doubt the level of decentralization that is there. So because of the tech problems, I no longer recommend Solana. ETH is, there's no doubt, it's always been the number one. And as of right now, it still is number one. I hope the transaction fee goes down, but I'm not very sure of that. So what I do as of right now is I've moved most of my work onto Binance Smart Chain. It's pretty strong, very, very fast, and extremely cheap. Hope that answered your question. Let's put another one. From where can I know more about blockchain solid? Yeah. So I run a free online course called Blockchain ADDS. In fact, our second batch started just today. So you can join up for that. All the videos are available for free. And that goes into the deep technology, and all these issues are covered in there. Anything else? Ethereum 2.0. Yeah, I'm really bullish on Ethereum 2.0. My only point is, when is it going to come? So a lot of memes about it, that it's going to come when Vitalik becomes an old man. So the question is, the timeline is really stretching out, and then now there are good alternatives platforms also coming up. Somebody's asked about Cardano. Cardano is interesting, but if you look at the TVL, or the total value locked of all the DeFi projects, and there you find Ethereum is probably almost 10 times the second one, you'll see that Cardano doesn't even come on the list. So in the DeFi space, Cardano is absolutely missing. So I'm not really sure what kind of use cases would make sense. So as a blockchain developer and architect, I've never used Cardano for a use case till today. I haven't really found a use case where Cardano actually made sense to me. Hope that answers your question. There are a few more which I'm going to answer. Okay. There was a rumor that in terms of exchanges, only Indian. No, these are all rumors. Just ignore them. Where can I get the course? So you could just go to rohasnagpal.com. If somebody here can just put in, there's a link there under courses, which is ADDS. So maybe you could just put that. Let me just get it for you. Hold on. Yeah, I have the link. I'll just paste it here. So yeah, I've pasted it. So you can use that. And for joining, it's simple. You just apply to a LinkedIn group and I'll approve you, and then all the data will be available. Yeah, you can click the Linktree button on my community. Yeah, it's there also. Any other questions? I can see that the time is up, but I don't know if you have a couple of more minutes, and if there are one or two questions, I can handle them. Okay. I don't see any other questions. So thank you. It was a pleasure speaking to all of you. I hope to see you guys sometime in the future. Bye-bye.